Welcome back. Operating a massive merchant vessel across thousands of miles of open ocean is inherently dangerous, and here, we're dedicated to exploring the systems that keep global shipping safe and prosperous. For decades, maritime regulations had a blind spot. A sailor could pass a written exam and earn a credential without necessarily proving they could handle a real-world emergency on a modern cargo ship. The International Maritime Organization stepped in to fix this through the STCW Convention, the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping. Today, this regulatory framework governs more than 98. Under these rules, a seafarer cannot legally sign on to a ship without hard proof of their survival capability. These certificates represent the essential permit for anyone working at sea. Earning that right to sail starts with a universal baseline. Every single crew member, from the master to the junior cook, must possess a core set of safety skills before they can be assigned to a vessel. This is basic safety training. Everyone goes through drills on personal survival techniques, administering first aid, and putting out a fire wearing proper protective gear. Alongside those safety drills, crew members must pass rigorous medical fitness standards, verifying everything from basic eyesight to physical stamina, and complete mandatory security awareness training to handle modern maritime threats. Once those baselines are cleared, the training roadmap splits based on the sailor's department. On the deck path, an officer must prove proficiency in specific technologies, like operating the ship's electronic chart display and information system, or ECDIS. Below deck, the engine department has its own distinct set of requirements. The 2010 amendments even introduced entirely new mandatory certifications for electrotechnical officers to handle the increasingly complex automation and control systems powering modern ships. Within those departments, the STCW maps every job to one of three hierarchical levels: support at the base, operational in the middle, and management at the very top. This rigid branching structure ensures that a complex, high-voltage control panel is only ever operated by a seafarer who holds the exact certification for that machinery at that specific level of authority. Even with a department certification in hand, a seafarer's training often isn't finished. Assignments to highly specialized or dangerous vessels require an entirely separate layer of mandatory qualifications. If the crew is hauling hazardous materials, they need advanced training and documentary evidence, proving they know how to load, handle, and secure cargo on oil, chemical, and liquefied gas tankers. The environment dictates requirements too. Ships operating in the extreme cold of polar waters demand specialized training just to safely navigate through the sea ice. And regardless of their rank or past experience, every seafarer faces the ship-specific familiarization rule. The moment they board a new vessel, they have to undergo immediate, mandatory orientation before they can assume their duties. They must walk their escape routes, locate their life jackets, identify their muster stations, and learn the exact audio signatures of the ship's specific emergency alarms. A portfolio of generic certificates is useless in a crisis if the crew member doesn't understand the physical layout and emergency protocols of the specific deck they are standing on. The STCW also governs active voyages, establishing the strict watchkeeping principles that must be followed for every hour spent at sea. To combat the extreme dangers of crew fatigue, the Convention enforces mandatory hours of rest. These rules are heavily harmonized with the Maritime Labor Convention, ensuring sailors get the sleep they need to stay alert. The guidelines also establish strict control provisions regarding intoxication, mandating a zero-tolerance policy for drug and alcohol consumption while on duty. To guarantee these daily standards and training records aren't being ignored, vessels face rigorous external checks from port state control inspectors. When an inspector comes aboard, the crew must produce the physical, original copies of their STCW certificates. Digital scans or paper photocopies are completely unacceptable. The financial and legal consequences of failing an inspection are severe. If a crew is uncertified, or improperly documented, or excessively fatigued, the port state can legally detain the ship and impose massive financial penalties. Maintaining STCW compliance is a constant effort. Because maritime technology evolves so quickly, certificates aren't permanent. Officers and crew must revalidate their credentials and undergo refresher training every 5 years. This rigorous, ongoing cycle of training, inspection, and revalidation ensures that the global merchant fleet is staffed by professionals who are tested, rested, and ready for the realities of the sea. If you want to know more about the specific systems and standards governing global shipping, drop your questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.